What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's funny. Okay, I love it.
What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Guess what? I am back with another amazing episode and preparing for a conversation with an amazing person. So today's special guest is Mr. Keeyen Martin. So let's give him a round of applause for being on BLK Talk. Hey, Keeyen.
Hey.
How are you?
I am excellent. I'm so excited to see you.
I'm excited to see
really
you too.
am.
Unfortunately, I was not able to make it to his EP release party recently, but this man has been doing so many amazing things. He just released his new EP called
Neutral. Yes.
And if you guys know, I've known Keeyen at this point for almost
We
10
can round up and say 10 years. We definitely
Yeah,
can.
we worked together for a number of years, had
Yes.
some great times, and Keeyen has continued to do some amazing things. Keeyen became an international artist, touring the world, and he's still out here making great music and inspiring the next generation of entertainers.
Yes.
Yes, of course. So, for people who may be unfamiliar with you, let people know who Keeyen Martin is.
Well, I simply am, a singer, a pianist, a teacher in music, a son, a friend, a brother. But I'm originally, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Atlanta has been home to me now for a long time. And I'm just a lover of people. I love music. I love food, absolutely. And I just love the ability to be a dreamer. And that's something that I'm always about. How can I keep living dreams and how can I inspire others to live theirs?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, over the years that I've known you, I told you when you walked in here today that you are glowing. That when I first met Keeyen, he was a shy yet confident person, but today I am seeing the full confidence right in my face.
I love that.
Like, so over the years, like, you've come into who you really truly are. Like, how does that feel when you wake up every day like, damn it, I'm Keeyen freaking Martin? Like, how does that feel?
It genuinely feels great because, I feel like being honest for all of us as people, we have periods and seasons where you don't fully feel secure in who you are. You don't feel confident in who you are. But I've learned that it's all a part of your journey, a part of your path and process. And I think for me, genuinely choosing to just, hey, let me fall in love with my process. That has helped me just fall in love with me. And, now when I wake up and go to bed, I genuinely love what I see when I look in the mirror. I love what I do throughout my days. And it just encourages me to keep going because I remember the old version of me, but making a conscious effort, I think, to just say, hey, every day I wake up, how can I be the best version of myself? I feel like that should be a goal for us as people. So,
when did you make that change to realize who you were, to walk in who you were, and to display the confidence of who you are to the world?
I would definitely say it really became concrete during the pandemic, during 2020, but I could feel like a desire to shift to that in 2019. And I just remember from different opportunities, from teaching and working with students and, finding out they're looking at me as a role model or an example. And I think from family, I remember a professor of mine, I was just catching up with him and he literally was like, you've always been just a nice, sweet person, but I just want you to recognize that you're the shit. He literally told me that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And, a lot of times I think that probably not just being because I'm a Southerner, but I would say from being a Southern guy, you're just kind of used to, oh, just being very chill, very kind. But a lot of times you don't really allow yourself to say, hey, I am very great at this. Hey, I have worked hard to get to this point. Let me
Mm-hmm.
at least honor that. And for me, I didn't. I was just like so accustomed to kind of like watering down
Mm-hmm.
who I was, and honestly not fully believing what people would try to reaffirm me to be. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just me. But during 2019, I really just allowed myself to say, hey, I am Keeyen Martin, and this has been years in the making to get to this point. So I feel like when COVID happened, I spent, as we all did, a lot of time with self, and I fell in love.
Because in 2019, you were spending a lot of time stamping that passport book.
Yeah.
So now you finally had a chance
Yes.
to rest and realize that you actually
Wow.
were out here making moves.
That's very true. You're exactly right. Yeah. And I think, which is largely connected to even of the release neutral, you know, being on the go, especially in our field, like entertainment, entrepreneur, all that, you're so accustomed to just on to the next, do this, do this, do this, build, build. That was the first time I did get to honestly sit down and reflect and give myself my own flowers. Like, wow, I'm proud of myself
Mm-hmm.
for doing this. And so I think when I sat down, that was when I allowed myself to just soak in who I am. And now I love me.
And the world loves you too.
I love the world.
Yes. I mean, clearly they do. I mean, they came out and everything you do, people come out and support.
Mhm.
Like, that's one thing that a creative, anybody who is interested in moving forward with something they believe in, though that's honestly people's biggest fear. Will I have the support in order to make this thing successful?
Yeah.
And the last time I had the opportunity to see you, it was a video release party.
Yeah. It was I think that was 2020 or 2021, I think maybe.
21.
Yeah, because I released a song and a video. Yeah.
And I'm breaking through crowds of people that all came out on a rainy night in Atlanta to see Keeyen. So knowing that you have support, knowing that people believe in what you do, knowing that when you're right there performing in front of these people are singing your words back to you. How does that feel?
It really feels unbelievable. It feels amazing. It feels gratifying. It's humbling. But I feel like all those feelings still can't really form how it feels, if that makes sense. Because I think when you're standing there, your mind is going through so many thoughts and so many emotions where you're like, I can't believe these people showed up for me.
Yeah.
I can't believe these people endured the rain for me. And you just have an overwhelming sense of gratitude because it speaks back to me. There's something that I am doing that's working. There's something that I am doing that people are saying is valuable. Yeah. So even on my moments where I may feel discouraged or maybe feel less than, it's like a divine, beautiful way where God is like, well, these people are showing you do have value and they enjoy celebrating you. And so that's something too, I think throughout my journey and my process that I have really just embraced, really receiving what people give you. And I'm sure we all know, those of you that are, are watching, a lot of times it's hard for us to get out of our own head, and it's hard for us to not overly critique what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you work so much to create this product and put it out there, but you don't even enjoy it because you are just picking apart everything. And I just started to learn, listen to people, even if it wasn't perfect. Allow what they're saying to just be the final say so and enjoy that. Yeah. And that has been super helpful with me just coming into my own everything, for sure. Yeah.
There was a word that you used earlier, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to
Mhm.
grab this word
Mhm.
as we go back and talk about who Keeyen Martin is and
Mhm.
was in the beginning.
Mhm.
And that word was family.
Mm,
One
yes,
thing I will
yes.
say, the world will come out and support, but your family will
Mhm.
be there,
Yes.
front row, supporting everything you do.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, I love that. Like, your aunts, your mother, like, I love those ladies. Like, they are
Yes.
freaking
And
awesome.
they literally ask about you every time they come to Atlanta. Very serious. They do.
See, yeah,
Everybody
call me.
they meet, they love you.
Look,
Yeah.
I will come cook. I will cook for these ladies. Let me know
Well,
next time they're here.
I promise I will.
Because you know Q like to throw down. But having that strong family background, how did that help to shape who you would become and who we know you as now?
It definitely taught me, I think, one of the main things that none of us as human beings will ever be able to escape, and that is love. You know, because my family, I think, even with them coming as they always do to come support me, I remember being a kid and they would always show up for me. You know, even if it was random, whether they probably fully understood or believed or supported, they just let love lead them to, I love, this is my child, this is my nephew, we're going to show up. And so that planted a seed in me as a kid, you know, that has blossomed now as an adult. Just operate in love. Like, it's, for me, not diminishing anybody's train of thought or methods to their madness, but I feel like if you just operate in love, like, everything is going to be good. Like, as it pertains to treating people, as it pertains to talking to people, as it pertains to operating in your crafts, lead with love. Like, and I have found from that seed being planted in me, it's allowed me to just firsthand see my successes grow, my connections, my relationships with people, because you know, I genuinely, like, I just love what I do. I love people. I'm not too specific and too fancy. I just love what I do, and I really let my heart be at the forefront of what I do as well. And I think that that has just really continued to prove over and over again. The heart reaches the heart. The spirit reaches the spirit. When you're authentic, when you are genuine, that is only going to want people or allow people to reciprocate that and give that back to you. And so I know for my entire career, I have never tried to do anything in any other way outside of just being genuine. Yeah.
And I mean, I know a lot of that comes from family, but you also have like a heavy church background.
Yes.
So, like, what are some of the things that you learned during those times that helped you navigate through your like musical career?
Well, one, because I am super Southern and grew up missionary Baptist, and I love, you know, my grandparents and elders. I just love, love, love the one piece about church that isn't necessarily like so rooted like in, you know, scripture or God's word, but I love like people just talking to people. Like, I love after church seeing my granddaddy. It would take us forever to leave because he enjoyed talking to people, and you know, I love,
oh my God,
love talking to people. And it was just, you know, I remember learning how a conversation, how a hug, how a handshake, how a smile, you could truly lift somebody's spirit. You could make their day. And that was one piece that I remember just about the institution of like the Black church. You're going to talk to people. It's going to be before you leave the sanctuary. And then sometimes you're going to go talk to people over food.
Yes.
And for me, that was just something I always valued, because my grandfather, he was just that type of guy. Like, he would always speak to everybody. And even in his neighborhood, he said in the old country town, Huntersville, North Carolina, and on a long road to get from his house even to the main like street, he would stop at the stop sign and wave to people, like neighbors in the yard. How you doing today? And as a child, that's all I ever saw. And so, you know, when I came to college and, you know, when I became a teacher, when I became a young man, I learned the power of letting, you know, conversation be a connecting point where you can truly build great relationships. A first impression, as we know, is everything, right? And so I've always valued, okay, at least when I meet people, they may never meet me again, but I want them to say, wow, I enjoy my experience talking to this guy,
Mm.
because we know how it feels when you talk to somebody and they are rude, they are short with you. It is awkward, and for me, I always value from church specifically. They love to talk. People gonna talk. People gonna carry on. They're gonna socialize, and that was just something that I always remember seeing, and so naturally, it's just a part of me.
It definitely is. Get to know them, guys. You'll find out for yourself.
Yes.
So when you moved to Atlanta, you moved to Atlanta to attend
Morehouse.
Yes, now,
yes,
Morehouse, and you stayed in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And you became who you were in Atlanta. Now you are giving back to the kids every day. Every single day. Like most people, if they're an entertainer, they don't really highlight what they do outside of what you know them as. You're a musician, but you're also preparing the next generation of musicians every day. And when I hear you talk about it, I mean, dealing with people's kids is always, it could be here and there, but like there's a light in your eye when you talk about your experiences with these kids.
Yeah.
So what got you into that? And you're going into like your 10th year of doing it.
Which is crazy. And yes, 10 years. Honestly, I remember when I first decided, hey, I wanted to do this. I was a senior at Morehouse. It was so simple to me only because all my life as a adolescent, now going even through college, I was relying on somebody that was an example, somebody that helped me, somebody that gave back, somebody that taught me. And so I remember probably it had to be August, like when I finished college in May and I got hired with the Atlanta Music Project, summertime. We started in August. I remember being terrified because obviously this is my first job and I'm working with somebody else's kids. But I just remember seeing their faces, and on every single day it was like I would see different versions of myself, or something that a child was experiencing or talking about that I could relate to, or I thought back when I was their age, and I was like, I remember what it felt like to be a child and you're high energy, you want to sing all the time, you want to, make music, and you had those few people that actually gave you a chance, that they just gave you attention. And I was like, okay, in my own way, I can't just shun them away. These are little human beings, and if I can be a great example to them, if I can try to hear them and steer them in any way I can, who knows how I'm gonna help groom and shape them. Because I remember too, being a kid, which is true now that I'm a man, you really never ever know like what a person can become. You have no idea. That's why it's important to, especially if you're in a position as a teacher, educator, all you should do to the best of your ability is to help nurture, to sow into, to just groom this child. And if this isn't a child that you're able to, okay, don't try to saute and fillet their experience, but try to put them in a position. Okay, we may have a miscommunication or connection. Let me see how I can transition them to somebody else that can, because of course we all know, which is very sad, but the state of education right now is just very challenged. And it encourages me more and more to enjoy what I do, but don't take for granted like these are people that will one day become adults. So you can't just say, okay, I ain't got time, I ain't got patience. Now I understand some people are not patient and they are not called to be teachers. That is a different thing. But I know in my heart it is purposed for me to have this connection with kids and be able to be there. So for as long as I can, I know that I want to honor that and do it. So
now, when you write your music, have you ever gone and shared any of it with the kids? Because what we do know is kids, depending on the age, they are very, very honest.
Yes.
And they're like they're the truth tellers. So you need things like that sometimes. So like how do those experiences happen?
Those experiences are always hilarious and eye-opening because, as you said, kids are brutally honest, and it's not even that they're trying to be brutal. They're just honest. Like, I don't like this, or I do like this. And so there are often times that, I remember even teaching a songwriting class to a group of students, and they were like, why do you listen to all this old music? And I was like, y'all, it's not old music. This is great music. But to them, it's like, this is old. And so I remember teaching them just how, me being born in the 90s, growing up hearing the remnants of like what my mom and them listened to, and,
Mm-hmm.
growing with artists that are now, super huge legends. And I would explain to them how we used to go to the store and buy CDs, how, well, I remember my mom had cassette tapes, VHS tapes, and
Yes,
DVDs,
yes.
and they were like, "Y'all had to leave y'all house to go get music. That's
That's
ghetto.
that's
Like
crazy
that's
to think about it like that.
yeah."
Wow.
And to them, they easily look at everything that I do like, this is old, this is dated. Stop. Like how? And so it's always funny to me because even in my process of teaching music, or if I'm sharing a song, Mr. Mom, we don't like that. That sounds boring. Can you do something different? Like, it's like, okay. But for me, it's always encouraging because I know, not I don't want to force it, but I want to allow my career as it continues to grow and develop to encompass like people from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think of it the same approach that Earth, Wind, and Fire, that a Stevie Wonder, uh, Beyonce, Rihanna, so many artists. I just love the way that they make music that it naturally just grabs a wide range of people. I want to try to be that version of myself for people. So that's why I think it's cool that when kids are brutally honest, it's like, okay, well, let me try something else to see if they may like this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Now let's get on to your music and the actual bodies of work that you have released.
mm.
So Neutral is what number released for you?
Neutral, it would be technically like my first official debut, but it's kind of like my almost my third like body of songs that I've
Mm-hmm.
released. Mm-hmm.
So now you've released this to the world. You're feeling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great songs on there.
Thank
Let's
you.
go through your musical journey.
Yes.
Your first project, your second project, and how they've all prepared you
Mm-hmm.
for this recent release.
Wow, I love that. So the first one, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just so excited to say I want to release music, and pretty much when I was in high school, mixtapes were very popular, and it was like primarily that was like rappers and DJs. I remember would like make their own mixtapes, but then it became like a trend for singers to do like a mixtape where they were just doing a lot of covers, and that was very fun for me because I remember being in high school and I was like, my greatest goals were to maintain my scholarship because we can't afford to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I just want to be the best version of an artist I can be because I grew up that generation loving, 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 loving pop culture by way of BET, MTV, VH1, all of that.
Yes.
And so Hotlanta was just like the city to come, especially as a black person in the South, to start a career. And
Mm-hmm.
so I remembered I just wanted to have fun making music. So I connected with the studio, or excuse me, connected with the producer that had his own studio. And I was like, hey, I want to do some cover songs and put it as a mixtape. And we met regularly, conceptualized it. And I think that hustler mentality that I've always had, I was like, I want to have a release party because I've watched by way of 106 in Park, artists come on here have a release party.
Yes.
And so on campus, here I am banding together with friends, and we went to the basement of our dorm and we literally had a release party. And so from there, that started to show me I think tangible evidence of you can do this. And that is something that I've always loved, which is why I love, love, love truly working. Like, I truly love, let's take this idea. What does Keeyen need to do? Let's make it happen. When I started to see that, wow, I planned something, we executed it, people came out, wow, let's keep doing it. So I go through college, graduate. At the time, I remember conceptualize the song Suitcase, which is still like one of my favorite songs to
Mm-hmm.
sing. And thankfully, people haven't got tired of that song yet. They still love it. When I wanted to do the Suitcase EP, it was the same idea, but now that I have a little bit more experience and knowledge, and your great, amazing help, we curated that experience. And that was like, wow, we actually put something together. It made sense, and people came. And for me, I feel like I've always modeled my career after you're looking at what has been successful for other people and you're trying to find your own way that works for you,
Yeah.
but you're at least trying.
Yep.
And that's something that I've never had all the dots connected and the I's dotted and the T's crossed, but I wouldn't allow my fear of the unknown or falling short to stop me.
Mm.
And that is something that Atlanta has really shown me because we all know Atlanta is such an amazing place where you can take something that you conceive in your mind
Mm.
and it becomes a very successful thing.
That's
Truly.
true.
So all of those were like the stepping stones of the mixtape, of the Suitcase EP, leading up to the Neutral EP, where I was like, wow, retracing my steps. I've learned from each experience. I've kept my tenacious heart, my tenacious spirit. I've tried to always remain a student of what I'm doing and learn. But I've just decided I'm not going to quit. I want to keep having releases, and however long it takes me, I want to stay committed to that.
Mm.
And so all of those, I think I just continue to learn from my own process, And I am a student of the game. I love to ask questions. I love asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem asking for help. So, yeah.
Now we're here. Neutral is out. Neutral is being streamed.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what is neutral?
Neutral is literally the concept for me is my own synonym of relaxing, embracing into who you are.
Mm.
And I'll expound on that by saying when I was reflecting as I was talking about during the pandemic, I was like, wow, for all these years, Keeyen has been a go-getter. He has had this thing in drive, like just boom, I'm gonna drive here, I'm gonna drive there, I'm gonna do this. I know for sure, especially for those of us that have an entrepreneurial spirit, you have to really, really, really go. You gotta go. Even if you don't have it all figured out, you gotta go. And so when I had that moment of rest, I remember just taking the analogy or the comparison to a car, and I was like asking one of my friends, Jordan, who I was like, Jordan, when you put a car in park, obviously we're parked. We may need that time to rest, to recover, to reset. But what happens when you put a car in neutral? And I was like, well, bro, I think the car can still move, but something else has to move it. And I was like, I love that. And so for me, after I remember praying on it and thinking about it and doing some research, and essentially, when you put a car in neutral, like it takes something else pulling it or steering it or guiding it. And for me, I was like, I want to make this my own synonym of I want to be neutral to like who God wants me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, that's it. And I was like, I want people to be encouraged from listening to this project, from experiencing me by way of conversation or performance. Like all I have ever done was try to really, really, really find how can I be the best version of me and just be neutral to that, like yield to that essentially. And I know that if we allow ourselves to do that, oh my goodness, you're going to be amazing because you're just falling in love with yourself, you're yielding to yourself, and above all things, you're trusting that whatever God's purpose has for you, you can do it. You really can.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, there are 8.
Yes.
8. And you're going to give me one word.
Okay.
About each of them.
Oh, that's all right.
Let's turn it around.
Yes.
So, we can go with number 1, neutral. One word.
One word. Embrace.
Okay. More love.
Can't stop, won't stop. That's like a phrase. Sorry, that's not one word.
It's okay. We can go with that. If you go.
Release.
Okay. You should know.
Self-love.
Okay. Pull up on me.
Show up.
Okay. Girl, I'm on the way.
Stop playing.
Dad's prayer.
Unconditional love.
Hmm.
I love that. That was actually fun. Yeah.
So for you, this entire project has clearly done something not only for music, but for you, your self-esteem. It's brought something new to the people who have listened to you for so very long. What is it that you hope people would receive from listening to the project?
Truly, if you be consistent, you can be great. You know, I think even with the last record, More Love, that song literally was written reflecting who I am in totality. Like, I'm just a loving person that tries to give love in everything that I do. And I know that all of us, we can benefit by giving more love to our dreams, to our families, to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is why that song was strategically placed at the end. And I wanted to sit and conceptualize a song. Keep going for whatever it is that, pulls on your heartstrings, but lead with love.
Yes.
So definitely, that's the overall thing. More love. We all could use more love. The world could use more love.
Speaking of love,
Mm-hmm.
loving oneself is something that oftentimes we all have issues with.
Yes.
We don't give ourselves the love that we know we deserve because many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, if this right here was 15-year-old Keeyen, what would you say to him?
I would say that if you just give your talent purpose, your dream direction, and love yourself through it all, everything is going to come together in its time.
All right.
Yeah, everything's going to come together in its time.
Do you look in the mirror and have conversations with yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I love to talk, so I do that too because I firmly believe and know for myself the words we speak, they really create the world we live in. They really do. Like, if you want to take it spiritual, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you don't want to take it spiritual, whatever, we know that positive thinking, positive speaking, it truly can change just how you feel about yourself, let alone how a person feels. That's why I think the roles of like a teacher, politician, somebody, a judge, a pastor, people cleave and grab towards positive words, words that can really, this inspire me, this encourage me. So that's why I start with myself every day. I look in the mirror, have conversations. Sometimes I'm at home, I don't even have to have a mirror, I have conversations. But that's because I know the only, I don't want to say the only, but I know the starting force for me when I came here, like everybody else that moves from their respective homes to come to Atlanta, there was nothing so significantly different from me than any other person. But I knew that I'm going to start loving on myself and speaking over myself because I want to attract all that God has for me and all these things that I know that I can do, And so I speak over myself all the time.
Have you prepared your Grammy speech? Because you said you like to talk a lot.
Uh-huh.
I would hate for the music to start playing while you're in the middle of your speech. Have you started to fine tune that thing yet?
I haven't because I now what I will say, I'm already bracing myself for every award show and stage. They're probably going to play the music on me just because from at least my first round, I am just going to be talking and I'm going to be so happy. Now, I probably should sit down and try to conceptualize that. But I like moments like that where you don't prepare because I think it gives you an opportunity to just literally share your heart.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes you can be so overwhelmed and so surprised, overcome with emotion that you just be rambling.
Yeah.
But I feel like, for my first one, it's warranted. Like, that's my first one. I'm just probably going to be all over the place and happy. Yeah.
I get it. Well, look, just make sure I'm there
Absolutely.
when you I definitely want to be at your BET Awards, Soul Train Awards, the Grammys.
Yes.
I mean, I'll come. But...
Now, one of my favorites, though, which I promise you, this is very real for me. I feel like I'm gonna cry when I receive an NAACP Image Award. That means so much to me, simply because when I was in high school, um, shout out to my teacher, Miss Morissette. She was the chair of she was the coordinator of the NAACP club when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I have always valued just Black history, Black culture, all the things Black. BLK talk, shout out to that. But I remember being in that club and we just kind of did like a deep dive into the NAACP organization. And then when I started to see the show, I was like, oh my goodness, to me, this is like one of the most... You're getting an award by the NAACP? That's amazing. Yeah. And so to me, I've always counted that as one of the highest honors in my opinion. So I feel like that's going to be the one where I'm literally going to cry. I'm so serious.
And you already know who's going to be right there when you do it. Mama and the aunties, they're going to be right there crying right along with you.
Absolutely.
So look, tell the people why Neutral is an important body of work that they should stream, support, purchase, play, all that good stuff. Add it to your summer playlist. Why should they do that?
Well, the core of it, it's just good music. When we sat down and started creating it, all I wanted to do was to make music that made me feel the way that all the legends, the icons did. And we took, live music, we had sessions, we took common concepts from personal experiences and we packaged them into songs. So everybody should go stream it, you should share it, you should like it, you should download it, because it is drawing light to good music. There are some people that love to say R&B is dead, ain't no good music. Well, this is a project that represents real good R&B that's alive and well, and good music. And I am sure that at the end of the day, there's a song on there that everybody can connect with.
Yes.
There's something that everybody can connect with and relate to. And I feel like if you perpetuate Neutral, you share it more, it's only going to allow me more opportunity to make other versions of Neutral in the future. So, yes, please support Neutral.
Yes. So where can people follow you and download and get all the links and everything and see what Keeyen Martin has coming up?
Absolutely, on all things Keeyen Martin, KeeyenMartin. That's KeeyenMartin.com. My Instagram, Twitter, Apple Music, Spotify, all my social media out in the world is Keeyen Martin. So you can check it out there and please hit me up. I would love to get connected. Yes.
Yeah, Keeyen, I appreciate you so much for making this happen. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
I am so proud of you, and I thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Of course. And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys go stream and download Neutral by Keeyen Martin. Make sure you guys follow him, support. And thank you guys for continuing to support me and BLK Talk. And we'll be back next time with another amazing episode.